King Charles and Queen Camilla's former office has been dragged into a lawsuit being heard at the High Court this week. Prince Harry is suing News Group Newspapers, NGN, publisher of The Sun and the now-defunct News of the World, over alleged unlawful information gathering at its titles. But NGN is asking Mr. Justice Fancourt to throw out his claim as well as the one brought by actor Hugh Grant, as it argues they have been brought too late. Get the latest royal news straight to your phone by joining our WhatsApp community. The publisher has settled numerous hacking claims in relation to the News of the World newspaper, but denies illegal activity at The Sun. In a witness statement made public on Tuesday, the Duke of Sussex described how he wanted to push for resolution over his phone hacking allegations and get an apology from the owner of NGN, Mr. Murdoch, in 2017. The royal wanted to close this chapter before his wedding to Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, which took place on May 19, 2018. Referring to Prince William, Harry said, "I remember speaking to my brother and saying something along the lines of enough of this. I want to get permission to push for a resolution to our phone hacking claims and a formal apology from Murdoch before any of his people are allowed anywhere near the wedding," or words to that effect. Clarence House, who at the time was the office of the now King Charles and Queen Camilla, has been accused by Harry of seemingly blocking our every move. This, he claimed, was part of a strategy the Duke had also alleged existed in his memoir Spare and in an interview with CBS released in January, which aimed at keeping the media on side to smooth the way for my stepmother and father to be accepted by the British public as Queen Consort and King respectively. In his written statement, the Duke said he was angry about what he called an appalling treatment faced by Meghan from Mr. Murdoch-owned newspapers and was frustrated about a lack of progress on phone hacking. He also said, "I thought, naively perhaps, that this might prove the perfect opportunity to air our grievances and force a resolution to our phone hacking claims." Harry recalled his elder brother being very understanding and supportive and agreed that we needed to do it. The Duke added the now Prince of Wales suggested that I seek permission from Granny, the late Queen. Harry, who now lives in California with his wife and children, said to have received the sovereign's go-ahead both directly and through her then Director of Communications, Sally Osman. Harry said, "I spoke to her shortly afterwards and said something along the lines of, 'Are you happy for me to push this forward? Do I have your permission?' And she said, 'Yes.'" Ms. Osman, Harry continued, was then given the green light to approach senior executives at NGN on behalf of the institution, Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, William and me, to broker resolution and an apology from Mr. Murdoch. But Harry claimed that, despite my grandmother having given her consent, there was very little support from the Queen's private secretary, staff from Buckingham Palace and Clarence House, which remained the office of Charles and Camilla until September 2022. Don't miss. Expert claims to spot strange gesture from Harry and Meghan, report, body language expert sees hidden meaning in new Prince Louis photos, analysis, Queen Camilla says she's too old for Princess Anne's favorite sport, insight. He added, "I remember one senior palace staff member saying that there couldn't be an apology to the Queen because she didn't have a claim." The late sovereign offered more support to her grandson in the March 2018 following continued silence from News International, the parent company of The Times, Sunday Times and The Sun, the Duke said, by allowing a further note to be sent to Robert Thomson, CEO of News Corporation and Rebecca Brooks, CEO of News UK. In an email from Ms. Osman describing the note, she said, Her Majesty has approved the wording, which essentially says there is increasing frustration at their lack of response and engagement and, while we've tried to settle without involving lawyers, we will need to reconsider our stance unless we receive a viable proposal. The Duke of Sussex claimed he was told by Gerard Tyrrell shortly before his and the Duchess of Sussex wedding that nothing could be done. Mr. Tyrrell was later described by the royal as the institution's lawyer taking direction from Clarence House. He said, shortly before the wedding, we were informed by Gerard Tyrrell that nothing could be done as NGN were not in a position to apologise to Her Majesty the Queen and the rest of the royal family at that stage on account of the fact that, if they did so, they would have to admit that not only was the news of the world involved in phone hacking but also the Sun, and that was something that they couldn't afford to do until the end of the litigation because it would seriously undermine their settlement strategy across all the other claims. The fifth in line to the throne said he understood this conversation took place between the now King's Communications Secretary and Ms. Brooks. The Duke continued, with hindsight, I now understand why staff at Clarence House were being so unhelpful and were seemingly blocking our every move, as they had a specific long-term strategy to keep the media, including NGN, on side in order to smooth the way for my stepmother, and father, to be accepted by the British public as Queen Consort, and King respectively, when the time came, and anything that might upset the apple cart in this regard, including the suggestion of resolution of our phone hacking claims, was to be avoided at all costs. In his statement, Prince Harry claimed to have been summoned to Buckingham Palace and told to drop the legal actions because they have an effect on all the family when he started his claims against NGN in October 2019. This was described by the Duke as a direct request, or rather demand from Charles, his private secretary and the Queen's private secretary.
Now